Fitment video for Nissan Navara genuine fender flares for the NP300. Flip the flare over and clean the surface where your adhesive tape is going to stick to. The adhesive tape is attached to the rubber extrusion. Make sure you apply the 3M primer to the area you're going to stick the seal to, as shown here. Peel a small portion of the tape back before you start to apply the double-sided tape. Gently push it on firm, but do not remove the red tape until your rubber extrusion is on the entire flare. Leave the rubber extrusion long past the flare until you're happy with how it's sitting. Where you see radiuses on the flares, there's a little bit of movement in the extrusion, flip it over and cut some slits in the back of the extrusion to make it stick down better. You have to do this around the tight curves, particularly around the fuel door. Earlier we said not to remove the red tape, just to pull a small tab back. Now we're going to pull the rest of the red tape back and stick down the rubber extrusion. And you firm down the double-sided tape on the area you've already cleaned and you've already primed. If you pull off the red tape before this stage, you'll never get the rubber extrusion on properly. Okay, now it's time to prepare the vehicle. You take off your mud flap and then you remove the screws from the inner guard as per the instructions. Make sure you get all the screws off the mud flap and then follow the fitting instructions and work you around the wheel guard. Now we've removed the mud flap, we're going to offer up the fender flare and then clean the panel and work out where we're going to put our primer adhesive. So once aligned, you can see that the fender flare sits about 15 millimeters from the edge of the pumped guard. Now we're going to clean it with the alcohol wipe provided in the fitting kit and then run adhesive primer around the area. Now apply the alcohol wipe to get the area nice and clean to where you're going to apply the flare. Give it a good rub, get all the dirt off there. After cleaning with the alcohol wipe, we get the primer stick and we apply that to the area that the rubber seal is going to be attached to. You crack the glass tube inside the stick, then you apply it. You'll see it go on, just apply it liberally and then clean it off afterwards. Offer up the flare and start fitting back the hardware as per the instructions. Get your flare lined up. A good key line up point is the separation between the guard and the bumper. Like earlier, peel back a little bit of the red backing tape on the double-sided tape before you apply the flare, and don't peel it off until your flare is in full position. Once you have your flare aligned, firmly put it in position, and as you are doing up the clip, push the flare towards the panel. This will give you a good seal on the top extrusion rubber. As you're doing up the clips, you push the flare in, the clip in, and then you tighten up the screw. By pushing the flare and the clip, you'll get a good seal on the top rubber extrusion. By pushing on the clip and the flare at the same time, you will see that there is no gapping between the rubber extrusion and the vehicle panel. You must push firm at the same time to get a good connection. Offer up the bumperette, line it up with the main flare on the main panel. See the red tabs of tape that we've peeled off? You keep them peeled back. You do not remove those until you've finished your fitment. You do not want to stick the flare in the wrong spot. Once again, once we find our position of flare, we're going to add our clips. We're going to push firm against the bumper, pushing the bumperette into the bumper whilst placing the clip. You'll hear a click. Now that the flare is finished and in position, we're going to remove the red adhesive backing tape. That will expose the double-sided tape on the inside of the flare. Now we're going to push the flare firmly onto the panel. And if the rubber extrusion has come away from the vehicle, we're just going to push it into the vehicle just like that, and the double-sided tape will stick it to the bumper. Your mud flap. This time you're actually applying the mud flap to the EGR flare using the push scrivets provided in your fitting kit. There's the mud flap fitted up. Attached to the actual flare. Okay, that's the front right corner fitted, and as you can see, the rubber extrusion is firmly fitted to the car, no gapping. Repeat the same steps as per the fitting instructions on all other wheel arches.